What do you do when you've stopped seeing your elderly, active neighbor for a couple of days? Do you call 911 for a wellness check? Or do you mind your own business? Well, this neighbor did the right thing, and what they found was even worse than they can even imagine. It's the case of Candace Craig, right now on Love and Murder. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder, the weekly true crime podcast discussing relationships gone terribly wrong, where our motto is, you're either someone's last love or their first murder. This is the last week of the summer cases, y'all. Love and Murder is back to our regular case type starting next week. Anyway, I am your host, Kai, and this show discusses true crime cases told in the form of a story with mystery and suspense. Be sure to subscribe to Love and Murder on Spotify, Apple, or whatever platform you're on so you don't miss any of the cases. And if you didn't know, you can also subscribe on our Patreon so that you don't have to hear intros or commercials. In today's episodes, we're talking about the case of a missing grandmother only to be found in her house, with a horrible revelation of what happened. But first, I want to remind you to head on over to our exclusive group at patreon.com/Love and Murder. Our last bonus episode was the intro into the journal of Issey Sagawa, a Japanese businessman who also chronicled his time as a cannibal. Before we begin, I want to say that this entire episode is alleged, as the case is still ongoing. This is for entertainment purposes only and have nothing to do with the legalities behind the case. Now, grab your butts, grab your apple juice, and let's get into some Love and Murder. On June 2nd, 2023, at about 1:35 p.m., police were called out for a routine welfare check in the serene neighborhood of the 200 block of Hale Road in Landover, Maryland. The Division III Landover Station police officers responded to a concerned man's 911 call. A neighbor expressing his worries about not having heard from 71-year-old Margaret Craig for several days. The Prince George's County Police Department released a press statement detailing the events that followed. As officers arrived at the residence, they were greeted by Candace Craig, Margaret's 44-year-old daughter, who allowed them access to the home for the welfare check. Police looked around, but didn't find the grandmother anywhere. However, as they went into the basement, they were met with the putrid smell of decomposition that made them descend the stairs even more cautiously. What they discovered inside was beyond comprehension. The basement revealed a grisly scene that would haunt the officers for years to come. Police documents reported, quote, "Upon entering the basement, officers immediately recognized the smell of putrefaction and observed blood and tissue on the floor near 3 white plastic trash bags. Officers observed in an open trash bag what appeared to be brain matter." End quote. Margaret's lifeless body had been callously dismembered, her remains packed into plastic trash bags scattered throughout the dimly lit space. Among the disturbing findings was a knife, carelessly discarded on the basement floor. The initial search further uncovered a chainsaw-covered, quote, "cutting utensils, cleaning materials, and blood spatter throughout the basement where the bags of human remains were located," end quote. This was a quote in actually the charging documents. That's what they had reported. A warrant was immediately granted, and the homicide and evidence units were notified and took over the investigation. Allegedly, they recovered several more items relevant to the case. This included, quote, "a chainsaw with human remains on it," end quote. Who could have done this? Why was it done? And how could her daughter and granddaughter be in the house without prior knowledge of what was in the basement? Then, a crucial witness came forward at the scene, adding a new layer of horror to the already crazy case. The witness claims to have seen Candace and her daughter, 19-year-old Celia Hardy, near, quote, a small fire in the brush behind the house, quote, burning what they believe to be human remains on May 27th. So this is literally what one of the neighbors said. Well, I'm assuming it's the neighbor. Let's just say one of the witnesses said. And if this act of murder itself wasn't just depraved enough, Candace was also trying to get rid of the evidence. And by evidence, I mean her mother. Candace and her daughter were arrested, but allegedly Celia waived her Miranda rights so that she could deny any involvement and implicate her mother as the sole perp. What goes around, comes around, comes around, comes back around. Candace, however, denied involvement too. So they're basically like, I don't know. It's like, who did this, Candace? When I was little, my mother would ask my siblings and I who did something in the house. If all of us said we didn't, she would ask if Mr. Nobody lives here. So that's my question, Candace. Did Mr. Nobody do this and you just walked in and caught him in the act? Inquiring minds want to know. According to Celia, the initial attack was triggered by her grandmother's discovery of credit card fraud. The grandmother had allegedly threatened to report her daughter for the fraudulent use of her credit card. Celia's statement then revealed this sequence of events following the murder. She claimed that, upon returning home the next day, she was shocked and horrified to discover her grandmother's remains in a blue bin in her bedroom. Let me repeat that. Her grandmother's remains were in a bin in her granddaughter's room. At this point, Candace allegedly convinced her daughter to help her in covering up the murder. Okay, lambs, pause here and let's play a game. This isn't in bad taste as it is about the case. I want to know your thoughts. Here's the game. Ready? All right. It consists of only one question. The prize? 1 million, babillion, gazillion lamb dollars for the correct answer. Ready? All right, here's the question. You come home from school to find your grandmother stored in a bin in your room. Your mom walks to your room and says, "Howdy doody, kid, how was your day? Hey, by the way, I killed your grandmother. Want to help me cover this up by cutting her up, putting her body in trash bags, and then burning them in the backyard?" You have 5 seconds to answer. Do you A, say, "Sure, where's the chainsaw?" and proceed to the basement, or B, bull rush the shit out of your mom, run out of the house, bang on the neighbor's door, and call the cops on your mom? Your time starts now. Ding, ding, ding. The correct answer is B. Like, that's the only answer. Are you crazy? Unless your mom was threatening you, like she opened the door with the chainsaw and was like, "If you don't help me do this, I'm going to be cutting up 2 bodies today." Like, what? There is no freaking way anybody's convincing me unless it's under duress. Are you serious? Anyway, continuing Celia's confession. So, after she chose the wrong answer from our game show, they then allegedly began the sickening process of dismembering Margaret's body with a chainsaw, and then attempting to burn the remains on a grill, and, when that failed, in a fire in the backyard. During the court appearance, both Candace and Celia pled, what did they plead, lambs? Not guilty. Candace was charged with 1 count each in first and second degree murder, and Celia was charged with accessory after the fact. This was according to the Upper Marlboro court records. Both defendants were ordered to be held without bond and are now in the custody of the Department of Corrections. Prosecutors acknowledged the challenges they faced in determining the exact cause of Margaret's death due to the condition of her remains. They are scheduled to be back in court in August of this year. So as of this recording, it's the end of July. So August is here. They didn't give exact dates. So I'll try and keep you up to date on this story. We'll see what happens. but I can't see them getting out of this. So that is the case of an ungrateful daughter who allegedly wanted to steal from her mother and then allegedly hacked her to bits with a freaking chainsaw. Oh, and her compliant daughter. What do you think of this case? I would love to hear. And you have 3 ways of sharing them with me. You could either tell me in the comments below, or you can join the Lamb Facebook group. It's free and welcoming, where you can discuss the case with the rest of the lambs. Or the best option, in my opinion, in my unbiased opinion, you can join the exclusive Lamb community here at www.patreon.com/loveandmurder. And for no reason at all, speaking of the Patreon, you can get in only at $3 a month donation and you'll get commercial-free episodes. So basically this episode minus all the commercial, and also with all the additions of the case, like pictures, videos, pictures of evidence, everything the case had in it. So if it had videos, you'll get that. If it had pictures of the evidence, you'll get that. Anything that was released with this case. The best tier is the $5 a month and above, because not only do you get these things, but you also get bonus episodes and access to everything that I post throughout the web. You get it all here in this one little community. For the next month and a half, we're actually reading the Journal of a Cannibal, and I'll be reading the chapters every week. So, www.patreon.com/loveandmurder. Before you go, don't forget to give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're on. That would help me out greatly, and it takes no time at all. Last week, I told you to leave a 5-star review, and in the description, hit that predictive text 5 times, the middle one. Hit it 5 times and hit send without editing. I still want you to do the same this week, and this should be hilarious. Follow me on social media. All the links are in the show notes below. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, share with your mom, share with your grandmother. Share. And as always, we end each episode by reminding you that it's, say it with me now, lambs, all love and no murder, y'all. Bye.